But we're going to talk keys to victory as well as a score prediction here on this Locked On crossover moment for the Red River Shootout.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, we've got keys to victory for this game. Jonathan, this is what I think Oklahoma needs to do to win this game. Quinn Ewers is coming back from that oblique injury. I made the joke when we were on the squad show about, you need your stomach to breathe, to walk, to talk, to think. And y'all laughed at me. I mean, it was hyperbole, but at the same time, if you really think about it, if you're got your head on a swivel thinking a rush is coming, to me, the key for Oklahoma on defense is keeping Quinn moving. If he's moving, he's not hurting you as bad. Even if he's healing, that's to me one of the key things to defeat. If Oklahoma keeps Quinn moving in a way he don't want to move, how do you think he fares in this game?
Well, I keep leaning on this, but he has been one of the best quarterbacks under pressure this season.
He has.
But, a good point that, Max Chadwick just made, from Pro Football Focus is that can change from week to week, right? Pressure looks different. You could be great against pressure against Colorado State, right? But then Oklahoma's pressure could come at you in a different way, you know what I mean, and affect you differently. So, obviously all quarterbacks are better, when they're not under pressure. And I do think, 100%. Coming back, being a little rusty, not playing since September 14th, if Oklahoma can get to him. And then sometimes it's just, they get to you in the first quarter, they get that hit on you, and then you start to feel that for the rest of the game, right? And even when the pass rush isn't there, you feel like it's there. So definitely, you know what I mean? I don't think there is a ton of paths to victory for the Oklahoma Sooners, but one of them is certainly getting to Quinn Ewers often, and early and rattling him a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that for us, one of the keys that on outside of Quinn, we're definitely going on the defensive side. We're going to have to make sure you guys can't run. And as you mentioned, you had Jayden Blue had two fumbles against Mississippi State. And Oklahoma's been one of the more opportunistic teams in the country this year. We've got a turnover margin of 11 so far, with 8 of those being fumbles. We like trying to strip the ball. And then if we can get turnovers, I think that's probably the path to victory, is forcing all those turnovers. Like you said, if we can get the pressure, that's key. To me, for Texas, it's going to be all about your rush. How much pressure do you put on Michael Hawkins to make him make a lot of decisions? Is that a fair thing in your thoughts as far as what Texas needs to do?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you look at it, as talented as he is, this is still his only, third game of actual action in his second start, right? And so, as a defense, you want to force a young quarterback into, patting the ball, making those mistakes, you know what I mean? And you can do that, kind of with, a pass rush and good coverage on the back end. So I think the key is getting to him, but also, like I said, being sound and keeping contained, right? Because sometimes the pass rush can be so good that he can step up through one of those gaps and take off for 30, 40 yards. So you want to make sure that you're getting pressure on him. You want to make sure that, you're making him make tough decisions, but you also don't want to give him easy outlets, to run the ball and get comfortable that way, right? We saw that last year with Dylan Gabriel, right? A quarterback that you wouldn't expect to come in and gash you with the run, I believe had over 140 rushing yards. So, he just played the game of his life. You know what I mean? So Michael Hawkins,
I was told that he wasn't good by so many people, man.
So Michael Hawkins is certainly capable, just with his speed and his athleticism, of running for 140 if you don't, keep him in the pocket and, have the discipline that you need. But ultimately, I think the best way to, shut down any quarterback is to get pressure on him. And I think we need to do a good job of that, and not just getting close to him, right? Not just getting around him, right? Not just getting your hands on him, actually get him on the ground, help stall these drives, and then get the offense back on the field. So, yeah, I think that's a huge key for Texas, is to get to Michael Hawkins early, rattle him and, remind him that it's pretty tough playing college football as a quarterback.
That's true. I mean, he did play ball in Texas, so I'm guessing he's kind of used to some of those kids in the Texas area trying to level him. All right, give me a player on offense and defense that you feel like is a key part of victory for Texas, and I'll do the same for Oklahoma.
I think it's Jayden Blue, right? I think it has to be Jayden Blue. Like I said, coming off the game where you get benched, I just think he brings something completely different to the offense than Trey Wisner and Jared Gibson. I think those are more, kind of just your power backs, just run through the hole and, get whatever the offensive line creates for him, where I think Jayden Blue is a creator for himself, right? Just out in the open field, catching the ball, making people miss in the hole. He's just so dynamic. And then you talk about speed, reaching speeds of 22 plus miles per hour. He can really take over the game and just hit his head on the goalpost anytime he gets a touch, right? So I think, Jayden Blue needs to get 20 plus touches in this game, and I think he needs to be effective with those 20 plus touches in this game. And then, on the defensive side of the ball, I think you talk about Anthony Hill, right? I would expect that, Anthony Hill a lot will be spying or have his eye on Michael Hawkins and his ability to run the ball. Obviously, I think Oklahoma's going to try to come in and run the ball a lot to take pressure off of Michael Hawkins. And so just, Anthony Hill in that second level, I think he's going to have a ton of responsibility. He's going to have to come out and play one of the best games of his life, right? To keep, Michael Hawkins contained, but also not let, Oklahoma just get away with running the ball 40, 50 times and then allowing Michael Hawkins to play, make plays off of that. So I think Jayden Blue is the key on offense for this run game to set up everything else, for Steve Sarkisian. And I think Anthony Hill on defense is a big key in terms of stopping the run game, whoever is coming from Oklahoma, whether it's the quarterbacks or the running backs. But who are your two key players on offense and defense for the Sooners?
So for me, on the offensive side of the ball, I think it's going to be the tight end room and Bowers Sharp, right? Not only pass catching, but also blocking. It's going to be important to be able to give Hawkins time or give him an outlet, because I know that Texas rush is going to come after him. As you mentioned, there's a very good chance that they're going to blitz him a lot, because that's exactly what Tennessee did as soon as he got in the game. They blitzed him at like a 40% rate of like a 47% rate in comparison to Jackson Arnold at 36 or 35. So they turned up the intensity to try to stop Michael Hawkins. Luckily, he was able to, get a couple scores and get some movement going. But the goal was to rattle him as much as possible because he's a true freshman. That is the logical attack. And I think PK will probably try to do the same thing. That's where that tight end, Bowers Sharp, is really going to be critical in not only making those catches, but at least, tripping somebody so that he can get out there and get a catch. I think on defense, I traditionally would go, of course, with the linebacker room, but I think it's going to be R. Mason Thomas. He's come in the season with 5.5 sacks, and he's like a disruptive piece of player in the fourth quarter of just about every game. That's when he really shows out. I need that in the first half. I need some of those hits on Quinn just to, like you said, give him that feeling of, oh yeah, this is college football and these dudes are really going to try to hit me hard. And I want him to be thinking. And that's when I want that oblique to hurt while he's thinking. I don't want him to hurt while he's also doing it. I want it to be thinking and he'd be like, it's in pain. That is going to be the goal. If they can keep the pressure on him because he's coming off injury, a mobile Quinn is not as effective as I think it will be a pocket passer. If this was him not being hurt coming to this game, I don't want Quinn to move. I want Quinn to be stuck in the pocket, and I want him to feel pressure coming in. But because he's coming off that oblique, I want him to move because I want him to feel uncomfortable. Then at the same time, that brings in Arch Manning. So then the question is, how many spies we gonna have out there to keep that dude from running? What he run like 28 miles per hour or something up the sideline? He's like the fastest Manning that ever exists.
But any quarterback that can run 67 yards for a touchdown, we call that a dual threat. So
yes, exactly. The disrespect.
Whoever's playing that quarterback on Saturday for sure.
Exactly. So we'll be watching out for that. Make sure you go check out Jonathan over there on Locked On Horns. Go give him hell, Sooner fans, because I will.
Hold on. No. Before we get out of here, we need to know wax. So that the fans can hold you accountable.
All right.
Score and winner. Go ahead.
Score and winner. My score and winner.
I don't want you coming back and saying, well, Texas should have won. No. I predict it right now.
All right. You got it. I'm gonna give it to you. Give me Oklahoma 24-20. I'm gonna go with my Sooners. Who you got, Jonathan? Give me yours so we get it on wax.
Come on, man. Y'all see the hat, man. Y'all see the hat, man. Y'all know it. Y'all know what time it is, man. Texas 34-13. I just can't see this Oklahoma Sooners offense, putting up a great deal of points, man. You know what I'm saying? And I can't see this Texas offense getting shut down by that Oklahoma defense. Once again, it was 76th in the country in pass defense. We talking about them like they elite unit. I know the numbers may be skewed a little bit, but you talk about them like they an elite unit. Meanwhile, Texas top 3, and we not talking about their defense. But yeah, I got the Longhorns 34-13, but I'll take the Longhorns 34-33. You know what I'm saying? And
a win's a win.
What it is for me.
The gold hat is the gold hat, especially because we know all the craziness happens here. And so now we'll wrap it up. Jonathan Davis, thank you for pulling up from Locked On Horns. I'm Jay Smith from Locked On Sooners. Check us all out. And next watch, check out Locked On College Football with Spencer McLaughlin. He does some great stuff over there. And we were talking noise over there. So we'll talk to you all Boomer Sooner.